Okay, so here we go. I'm really excited about tonight, even though I don't feel 100%. I did get some food poisoning, or at least I think it was food poisoning. So I just started to feel a little bit better. So I'm going to give it my all. I did not want to cancel. But for those of you who don't know me, my name is Kim. I'm a board certified functional wellness coach. And I'm just really excited to be sharing tonight about the topic of toxins. And like Dr. Toby said, I believe this will be eye-opening because even putting it together, we really may not fully understand how much how much toxins are really playing a role in our health or lack thereof. So I just want to share my disclaimer, just letting you all know that I am not a doctor, I am not a physician, and that I don't have your whole health history in front of me. So I just have to say to please check with your physician or your healthcare provider before implementing any suggestions made here. So just a little bit about me. Like I said, I'm a board certified functional wellness coach. I do have a bachelor's degree in business management. I went to 2 different health coaching schools, well, really 3, but 2, the Institute for Integrative Nutrition and the Institute for Functional Health Coaching. I'm married, 22 years now. I have 1 dog. He's an 8-pound toy poodle, and he's larger than life. He thinks that he's a Great Dane. He does not think that he's a toy poodle. And I was born and raised in Delaware, so I am a true Delawarean. And I just love everything, just like Dr. Toby was sharing, just health and wellness. So my desire for you tonight is not to scare you and simply not to overwhelm you. I just like to educate, inspire, and uplift, and really just provide a proper framework for you to be motivated and to be open about change. So are you concerned about developing diabetes, Alzheimer's or dementia, cancer? Are you struggling with chronic pain? Maybe pain that is really limiting your ability to participate in life? Are you trying to lose weight? You just have those pounds around your middle without any success, even though you're doing everything right. You're exercising and you're eating right, but you just can't lose those extra pounds. And are you dealing with brain fog? Are you struggling with rosacea, eczema, psoriasis? So really these skin issues. And are you struggling with food cravings, allergies? Maybe you get sick a lot, autoimmune diseases like rheumatoid arthritis and lupus. And how is your sleep? Are you struggling with sleeping? And what I find, even though these are a lot of symptoms, underneath as the root cause is really toxicity. And that's what we're going to be talking a little bit more about, and how you can lift your body's burden from these toxins playing a role in our health. So if you have or any of those symptoms, or maybe you've had them, then I want to let you know that you're in the right place. And that really, when we have symptoms, it is your body really giving you a warning. It might whisper at first, and then if we don't pay attention to those whispers, then it might scream. And that was me. I waited until the screams. But really, I want you to look at it as a gift, because your body's trying to tell you and let you know that something's going on and you need to address it. And I'll give you an example. Last weekend, it just was like all of a sudden out of nowhere, it just got like incredibly hot. And even me, a person who loves the heat, I just couldn't adjust. It just came on so quick. And I was bike riding last week, and I started to get that headache, and I needed water. So I wasn't listening at first, but my body was getting dehydrated, so I needed water. And so we just have to listen to our body, those little messages that it gives us, those little whispers, because that could have been dangerous if I kept going and being dehydrated. So toxins play a role, and this is just a few examples of how we are bringing in toxins every day. And I want to give you some toxin facts. So this is as of 2007, 82,000 chemicals in the marketplace. So if that was in 2007, then actually today it's probably a lot higher. And these chemicals really aren't even tested for safety. So 127 chemicals that you and I are exposed to daily. There's 200 chemicals in our body right now. And I even did some studies on umbilical cords. They found that in the baby's blood, in the umbilical cord, that they also have 200 toxins in their bodies, and from the umbilical cord, the blood. So like I was sharing, 95, whoops, I went a little too fast. 92% or 95% of these chemicals, they have not been tested for safety. So what we are covering is tonight, what is a toxin? Where do toxins come from? How do toxins impact our body? What is detox? And how do we detox? And what are the benefits of detox? Really, it's all about what you can do to decrease your toxic burden on your body. So what is a toxin? So basically, a toxin are chemicals that cause damage to a human and to an animal. So pretty simple what a toxin is. So where do we come into contact with toxins? So yeah, we could look at our air, our indoor and outdoor air, our water, our food, our personal care products, our body care, our home products, cleaning products, and even chemicals outside the home. But today I want to just talk on something that I feel that doesn't get talked about nearly enough. I mean, I could go into each of these and spend a lot of time, but what I want to share is about our indoor air quality. So just giving you an idea of some of the top polluters are inside our homes. And so our homes are, when they're built so tight that the air, it's hard to get like that good air quality. And then also our mattresses, our carpet, and our furnitures are also giving, they're off-gassing. So we're breathing that in, and that's, toxicity. But also I wanted to mention something that many may not consider is mold. And the last couple of years, the people have been spending more time, indoors. And even if you have a new home, a lot of people may think that, well, I don't have mold because this is a new home. But I want to just share about our building materials. They can be affected, with mold. And also, when the house is framed and it gets wet, because it rains and it gets wet, then that's where, mold can start to grow. And then they just put the house up, but you don't see it because the wall's up, because it's behind it. So those are just, some ideas. So 50% of the homes in the US have mold. 70% of the homes have mold, but you just can't see it because it's behind the wall. And 25% of the population, they cannot detox mold and other biotoxins. So we can see how that can really add to their toxic bucket. So toxins in our food, this is another way. There's a lot of additives and preservatives. They inject growth hormones and other chemicals, even antibiotics into the food. Unwanted bacteria, heavy metals can be in foods, parasites, GMOs, which stands for genetically modified organisms, and even our pesticides in fertilizers as well. So toxins in our body, okay? Did you know that when you put something on your skin, it absorbs into your bloodstream within 26 seconds? So just think about hair dyes. Okay, so you put that on your head, it goes into your bloodstream, and then your brain's right there too. So that was one of the things, that was my last thing to really clean up. And of course, I like my hair dyed, but I did stop coloring my hair. And that was a big burden that I took off, that I did take off my body. So we are exposed to 126 chemicals a day that we put onto our bodies. And I just want then, because we're using, at least the average women is probably more, but they're using like 9 or more different products, from shampoo, conditioner, skincare, lotions. So that's a way, if they have chemicals in it, that we are just bringing it in and it's absorbing right into our bloodstream without any barrier in 23 seconds. Another way that we're bringing in toxins that we may not think about is prescriptions and medications. Okay, so our liver has to, deal with that, and that is, toxic to the body. And and also we want to look at our supplements as well. So our supplements, a lot of them are manufactured isolates. So like you can think about, and are synthetic. So we can think about like ascorbic acid and vitamin C, which is a synthetic version. Also, if you look at supplements, they can include a lot of fillers. So some of the things that you can look for is like magnesium stearate, silica, and stearate acid. So those are all other ways that we are bringing in, toxins, and we may not think that because, oh, it's a supplement. So we just want to look at that synthetic vitamin D2, all of that. Okay, so toxins in our cookware. Remember when Teflon came out? Well, people are still using these non-stick cookware. And they're really dangerous, when they're heated, but it really can be. They have studies on all of this, how this cookware is really hard on the endocrine system and to our hormones and birth defects, all different things just from cookware. So that might be, an area to consider. So toxins in our food storage. Today everything is plastic, isn't it? I mean, you go to a grocery store and you're getting your produce, they have the plastic bags there to put them in, right? You're taking out a rotisserie chicken, it's in plastic. I mean, there's zip bags, there's water bottles, that we may use a plastic spatula. We put our foods in these plastic containers. And this is really increasing in our bodies all of this exposure to toxicity and overflowing our cup. So toxins in our cleaning products, we may not, think about them. And even though they may say, oh, it just has a little bit in there, but that chemicals, they just build up over time. We're breathing them in, and then again, they're not really tested for safety. Another way that we might be bringing in toxins is our playgrounds, golf courses, and our own lawns. If we are using, Roundup on our lawns. And I didn't know, when I bought my first townhouse, I was on a golf course, and I didn't know about the toxic chemicals that they spray, on the golf course, even on the playgrounds. And even on your own lawn. So if you have, children who are on your lawn and they are crawling on the ground, they're absorbing that from their hands, or, they're right in from their hands into their bloodstream. Even our pets as well. And I could share a story with my pet where he was walking on other lawns, and, he had a really big issue. So he actually, we are detoxing his toxic bucket. But with all of this, the Roundup that is used on our lawns, it's Roundup, but it's glyphosate. And glyphosate is in our air, it's in our food, it's in our water, and it's really hard to get away from glyphosate. So what kinds of things does toxicity in the body cause? Well, you may not present with all of these symptoms, but and everybody does present differently. So you could have hormone imbalances. Okay, you might have weight gain, and the reason why you can't lose weight is because in your fat stores, it's soaking up those toxins to protect the body, and that could be a reason why you're not losing weight because of the toxicity. You could have fatigue, inflammation and pain. Since we're here talking about, chiropractic, I have known people with ligament laxity, and once we address the toxicity, their ligament laxity also improved. And also too, think of back pain. I know a lot of people that have back pain surgery, but they still have back pain. And I worked with a lot of people with, like, in similar situations with the back pain, and they detoxed and they were able to get out of the pain. So all of these, toxins, they damage our gut, especially glyphosate, because it is a patent chemical pesticide, and also an oral antibiotic. So oral antibiotic really damages the gut and causes something called leaky gut. And then when we have leaky gut, then our toxins are leaking into our bloodstream. So I just want to talk about the toxic bucket theory of chronic disease. So as you can see, the first picture on the left, somebody, their toxic bucket, they have some toxicity, but their bucket, is just a little bit of toxicity in their body. And then as all of these things, as it builds up, then they're getting a little more toxicity, seeing more symptoms. And then, boom, their bucket overflows because they're just full of toxins. And this is where you start to see chronic diseases and autoimmune and all of these. It's going to present differently for everybody. It could be Hashimoto's, it could be the inflammatory bowel, Crohn's, colitis, all of these chronic disease once your bucket is tipped. And I'll share my chronic bucket, my toxic bucket that overfloweth in just a bit. So some common symptoms of toxic overload, we talked about some of them. Some people either have that constipation and diarrhea, autoimmune illness seems to be, on the rise. And like I was sharing, just things like inflammatory bowel, Hashimoto's, Crohn's, colitis, all of that, rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, so skin conditions, the joint pain and inflammation, anxiety and depression. So I had pretty much most of these symptoms. So what does it mean to detox? So we think about, like, when we're spring cleaning our homes, we are getting rid of things and we're making it clean. Well, our bodies are the same way. They also need to be cleansed and detoxed, just like you would, take your car to get an oil change because you want the car to be able to function properly. So same thing, our bodies definitely do need to detox, and we need to help support it to detox, and we can do that easily. So how do we detox? Okay, so there's all of our organs, they all work together. I just find that just so fascinating how they all work together, and their role, they want you well, they want you healthy, and they want to help you to eliminate and filter out toxins and waste. So I'm going to start with the colon first. I'm not going to talk about the blood, but the colon, you want to make sure that you are moving your bowels. That is the first thing. We want to make sure, if at least once a day, if we can get you moving a little bit more, like if you eat 3 meals a day, then we would love for you to have, 3 bowel movements a day. And then I want to, talk about the skin, which the skin is our largest organ. And ways that we can start to detox the skin is we're going to sweat. We're going to exercise, so we sweat. Or what else can you do? You could take a hot Epsom salt bath. You could get into a sauna. So we really just want to be able to sweat out toxins. And then our liver. Okay, so our liver is like, think about your liver as the mom of all the organs. It has to deal with everything. And so it definitely needs to be supported. And then the liver needs to be detoxed, and some things that you can really help the liver to detox if you're struggling is maybe taking some milk thistle or dandelion. You could do like a dandelion tea. So there are many ways to start to detox the liver. Oops. And okay, and then the lungs, which I didn't really always think about. I used to shallow breathe, but really we can detox our lungs from just doing deep breathing work. So breath work is very awesome for that. And I want to talk about the lymph, because the lymph system is our sewer system in the body. It's a very, very important system. It's like never taking out the kitchen trash or flushing your toilet. And so the lymph system can get really backed up with waste. And so the lymphatic system doesn't have a pump like the heart does in the blood. So we actually really have to help move our lymph. And the way to do that, I don't know if you know, but your lymphatic system is like under your skin. You have lymph nodes under your arms. And there's multiple things that you can do. So movement, any kind of movement, and it doesn't have to be, a big movement. You can do like Qigong type movements to really just get everything moving in circulation. You could get on a rebounder if you have one. You could use one of those yoga balls and kind of bounce on it. That will get the lymph moving, any kind of movement. So whether you're walking, there's many ways to really, you can dry brush. Sometimes I just stand up on my toes and then come down on my heels like 10 times. And that really also just kind of jolts the body and really gets the lymph system moving. So those are all things. And then last is the kidneys. Now, you're going to detox first through the colon and the skin. Now, the kidneys take a little bit of time to really start filtering out lymphatic waste. I'm still working on my kidney filtration, so it just takes a little bit of time. But one way you can test to see if your kidneys are filtering out lymphatic waste is in the morning, you can urinate in a glass jar. And what you want to look for, you want your urine to be a little cloudy and also to have sediments in it. So kind of like if you were shaking a snow globe, you want that. That means that your kidneys are opened, and they're opened and filtering out lymphatic waste, which is, again, our sewer system, of the body. And all of our organs can be, backed up and stagnant. So it's really just, moving and supporting those organs so you can help them to do their job. So I wanted to just share a little bit about my story before detoxing and after detoxing. And I knew that I had to detox. I feel like if I didn't, I would have had cancer and died, or I had to save my life, basically, because I was in the medical for 7 years, and they just kept giving me more and more drugs and more medications. And I was so toxic, and I was on antibiotics for 7 years, every month for 7 years. So I was completely sick. But what caused my toxic bucket to overflow was when the company I was working for, we moved into a building because they needed space that they had bought. It was an abandoned building. And it was the DuPont, it was a DuPont old experimental building. So there was chemicals in the building, and my desk, I sat over top of where they made t-shirts all day. So I was breathing in those fumes, and the building had mold. And it was 2 weeks and I was in that building, and my health went down. It's like that was the chemicals that just took me over. And plus I had straightened my hair. I did this 7-hour Japanese hair straightening, which never again. And so that was breathing in a lot of formaldehyde and other, chemicals. So before detoxing, I was having chronic sinus infections. I couldn't breathe. I was having allergies, and I'm not going to go through all my symptoms. I had brain fog. I had terrible gut problems. I had, my rosacea was horrible. There was just an chronic inflammatory skin condition. I had chronic yeast and bladder infections. And then after detoxing, my sinus infections went away, the brain fog, I could think again. I was out walking and biking and playing pickleball. I no longer, was suffering, and no allergies, because I was sensitive to everything. I couldn't even be outside because I would just react. So all of that went away after I started detoxing and taking that toxic burden, off my body and my organs. So I want to share Deborah's story. She was somebody who, she was working with another health coach, and she was a great client. She did everything that the health coach, told her to do, but the needle wasn't moving in her health. And I talked with her about, maybe it's time for a detox, and would you be open, and would that be something that you would consider? And she was. But before her detox, she had very limited mobility. She had chronic pain she dealt with every day. She had high cholesterol. She was overweight. She really couldn't participate in life. And she really that was her why. And after her detox, her mobility improved. She could actually clean her house and fold towels and do laundry, which was something that she couldn't do. She would lift up her arms and just be completely in pain. She did lose weight. Her cholesterol normalized. And like I said, she was able to really decrease her pain and inflammation. In Kyle's story, he's a practitioner. He's just a bundle of energy. However, he was sharing that he had poor sleep and he was fatigued, and what he really wanted was energy. He just wanted energy when he got home to be with his kids, and he just didn't have the energy. And after he detoxed, his sleep improved, so now he was having the energy for the next day. So he did lose weight, even though that's what he wasn't looking to do. But sometimes that is the side benefit. When your body's in homeostasis, weight loss can be the side benefit. So he was just really excited to be able to come home and have the energy to be with his family at night. So what are the benefits of detox? We want to improve. Detox can help you improve your digestion. It can help you to lose weight, because once we get those toxins out of the fat storage, weight loss usually occurs. It can help you to increase your energy because you're not bottled down with toxins. It can help you to sleep better. It can improve your skin, really makes a difference with these skin conditions. And decrease your pain and inflammation, because when your body's inflamed, then you're going to have all that pain. And then also improve your mental clarity, so brain fog seems to lift. That's some of the benefits of detox. Okay, so how to reduce your toxic load? As I'm going through, I want you guys to think about maybe one thing, just one thing that you could do if you're not already in any of this that you could do that would take, and that way it would take and reduce your toxic load. So just keep thinking about the one thing that you're not doing that you know that you can do, and then you can share that in the chat. So another way, and I think Dr. Toby was sharing this, is that our food. So we want to look at the toxins in our food and how we can, clean that up a little bit. Now, when I work with all of my clients, I always share with them in their welcome letter the dirty dozen and the clean 15, because the dirty dozen are the foods that are the dirtiest. So if you're on a budget, if you can, look to these foods on the dirty dozens to buy them organic, that would be very helpful for your body. I always buy my leafy greens, organic, my apples and berries and things like that. And then there's the clean 15, which are saying these don't necessarily have to be organic because they have the harder, hard shell, like your avocados, your cantaloupe, your watermelon, things like that. I still, if the price is right and I can get it organic, then I will. But if I can, then I will shop off the clean 15, just knowing that those necessarily don't have to be organic. Okay, so how can we just decrease your exposure to toxins in food? Well, this might sound silly, but we want to eat as much fresh whole food as we can. So when you go into your grocery store, maybe shopping outside the perimeter of it, because that's where you're going to find your fresh, whole food. And I want to share to please read labels. So the other night, and I just looked at the front, and it said all organic, and it was just like a bag of jasmine rice. And then when I got home, I turned it around and I saw that it wasn't just rice. It was, the rice was cooked already in a inflammatory oil, sunflower and soy oil. So you have to read our labels. And also we want to avoid artificial sweeteners. They are neurotoxin to our brain. And if you're looking for sweeteners, you can use, maple syrup and honey, and monk fruit and stevia. There are other ways to sweeten that doesn't put that toxic burden on the body. And then also avoid your preservatives and artificial flavors. So when we look at all of our personal care, beauty care, skin care, I just put a little list above about 10 harmful chemicals to avoid. Some of these you might have seen already, but we just want to clean this up a little bit. So the average shampoo has like 15 chemicals in it. We don't think about it. Eyeshadow has 26 chemicals, lipstick. I mean, if you look at this, there's a lot of chemicals. So as women are using this every day, they start with their eyeshadow, their shampoo, their lipstick, their body lotion, deodorant, blush. I mean, we are just every day bringing in all of these toxins without maybe even considering or realizing. So this is what I do on how to choose safe cosmetics, okay, is less is more. So I always try to look and find products where there's not this big ingredient list, especially, I don't think there needs to be like 20 ingredients on conditioner or shampoo or eyeshadow or whatever it might be. And so I look for things that I can pronounce as well. So if I can't pronounce it, then I'm questioning it. And we want to, keep it simple, like I was saying, avoid those products with long list and chemical ingredients, and avoid fragrance, because a lot of times it will say, with fragrance, they don't have to say where it's coming from. Most likely it's perfume, which again affects the endocrine system and the hormones. That, you have to like be a detective to find out, like, is this essential oil scented? It's really hard to figure that out sometimes. So I just say avoid fragrance. If you see that on a label, just avoid it, because most likely it's perfume. So understand your labels is just very, very important. And even if it says organic or natural, that doesn't mean safe. It doesn't mean that there's no chemicals in it. A lot of times the ingredients on a label is the short list, and then you have to go out to the company's website and you have to find the full list. I have made that mistake. A lot of these products that are sold in health food stores are greenwashed. They're not as clean as you think they are. So you could find a place like I do. There's basically a one-stop shop. It's 100% toxin free. That's everything: my shampoos, my skincare, my personal care, my body care. Even I make a carpet cleaner myself, and I use it's called the Master Blaster and the laundry detergent together, and I make the best carpet cleaner. So I never use those chemical, carpet cleaners that they come with. So we just have to get a little crafty. And you can get crafty if you really want to make your own products. I used to do that for a while, but then it really was a mess in the shower. But but you can, if you're a little more craftier than me, then maybe you could do that. So I want you to consider what you store your food in. We already talked a little bit about so much plastic that we're using, from saran wrap to Ziploc bags to everything comes in a container. I don't care if it's your organic kale, it's in a container. Your bag of apples is in plastic. Everything's in plastic. So if you can switch to glass or Pyrex, that would, be really great. And even your water bottles, maybe stainless steel, or glass, that would be awesome. And then read your labels, because just looking at this label, these are some of these chemicals, and you see the fragrance, perfume, and all of that. This is chemicals, okay? Chemical sunscreens, we didn't talk about all of that. That all adds up to your toxic bucket over time. Okay, and what you clean with definitely, matters. There's so many things that you can do. If you want to make your own cleaners, you can. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. I just wanted you to see, like, these common cleaners you'll see in people's homes, but these are very, this adds to that toxic bucket. So what I do is I clean with food, not chemicals. Who here remembers their grandmother maybe cleaning with baking soda and vinegar? And that was my grandmother. And so I still use vinegar and baking soda, and you can add things to it. You can take a spray bottle with some vinegar and add a couple drops of Dr. Bronner's and maybe some essential oil, but so you can certainly clean with your food and not chemicals. And that's a way of keeping the toxic bucket, especially in our homes with the air quality. Our houses are built so tight and we don't have good air quality. So all of that is we're just breathing and taking that in. So become a toxin detective. Read all your labels, avoid products that make irrelevant claims, and even look at your eco-friendly products. Read the labels. You'll be so surprised as you start doing this what's really in them. They're not all clean. So what's the benefits of decreasing your toxic burden? There are many things. Better skin. Some people will notice that. Better sleep. They have less brain fog, like in my story, less digestive troubles, more energy. They experience weight loss. They have decrease in inflammation and pain, and even their mood. They're even happier because they feel good. So that's some of the benefits that you can experience when you are detoxing. Okay, so what are you going to do to decrease your toxic bucket? Is there anything in here that maybe I mentioned tonight that maybe you haven't thought of, or maybe something that you're like, you know what, I could do this and that would take some of that exposure off? Is there anybody that wants to go off mute for a minute and share, or you can put it in the comments? What's one thing that you could take away and maybe you'll start doing to, soon to take this toxic burden off?
Well, I'd already kind of started. I started using something called Earth Breeze for my laundry soap. And then I was trying to think, there's this natural shampoo that you can get now. But, when you were talking about makeup, I don't very often use any kind of makeup, but I just was listening to you and I thought, I'm getting rid of the mascara and stuff. I just don't need it. There's too much emphasis on the way we look rather than who we are.
Yes.
And, I've just decided it needs to be your insides out. And I was recently diagnosed with cancer myself and just got my PET scan, and I'm cancer free. They did, a radical hysterectomy and it's gone. And I've decided I'm refusing treatment because I have healthy cell tissue in me right now.
Yes.
And I can't see any sense in putting that poison into a healthy system right now. And I decided what I'm going to do is bargain with my doctor and say, I'll go get a PET scan every 3 to 6 months or whatever you want. But I'm just totally redoing everything. And I mean, everything from my drinking water and how I'm drinking water and drinking it, 8 glasses a day. I bought a juicer, and I'm like, what you had those 2 lists up there. I've started juicing celery juice. There's actually research on what it can do to your body, Yeah. And if you just go digging for this stuff, you can find it. It's just not mainstream because of the money, and I never thought I'd get on this big pharma train wagon, but seriously, even cancer seems to be a business these days. I'm not saying it doesn't help some people who need it. 3rd, 4th stage cancer used to be a death sentence, and it's not anymore. But certainly not stage 1 and stage 2. I mean, that's just insane. So, and I just came to that conclusion this afternoon, is why I probably am sounding so forceful about it, I'm still settling in with the whole decision. So thank you for
Yeah.
this presentation. I couldn't wait to get on here tonight.
Oh, well, thank you. And I'm so happy to hear about, what you're doing. And I totally, agree, with your decisions. And I'm so glad that you're, you know, doing okay. And I just love it. And I actually myself, I know this isn't part of the talk, but I really believe in the terrain theory and not the germ theory, which for anybody out there that doesn't know. So if the fish in your fish tank gets sick, the terrain theory is that you would take the fish out of the water, change the water, so their environment, and you might clean the rocks in the fish tank, and then you put the fish back in so that they can thrive. And the germ theory is when the fish gets sick and you medicate it and vaccinate the fish, but you never change the environment.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I believe in as well. And anytime we can take this toxic burden off our body, yeah, absolutely.
Well, Kim, you know what? That to me is why they're lacking credibility with this cancer issue, because they don't give people this advice and they don't tell them they should be, doing something different outside of the treatment. And that's the part I think that is almost unconscionable.
Yeah, well, they're probably, not allowed to either based on their training and their licensing. And so that's another, issue as well. But this is why these kinds of talks are very empowering, because then you have this information so that you can make the best informed decision for yourself.
Well, they do tell you to stop eating meat when you have heart disease.
Okay, did not know that. Oh, yeah, I guess I saw that on their website. I think I did see that.
Yeah.
Yep. Great. Anybody else want to share? Thank you, Dr. Toby.
Yeah, Kim, it's Stan.
Hi, Steve.
I was going to quickly add that for myself, I got diagnosed with, Gulf War illness, autoimmune disease, and the chief protocol the doctors gave me, both in the VA and outside doctors, is avoidance of anything toxic. It's more common sense than anything else. Anything, as you mentioned, that touches your skin is absorbed. Everything you breathe in. I have air filters in my house. So I just replaced everything that's toxic with non-toxic items. This way, there's no me choosing between the two, not realizing that kind of thing. In my bathroom and in my kitchen and so forth, cleaning is all non-toxic. Although I do allow, at least right now, folks to clean my house that they do use sometimes toxic things and whatnot. And then if I missed this, I apologize, but I drink clean, purified water. I add in some real salt to it for minerals. And I also get sunlight every day. I get outside, sweat, sun, at least 20 minutes every day. Vitamin D is so important and detoxified. And I have myself a professional infrared sauna, because for me, and especially in the winter, it's so critical to sweat and detox, as you had mentioned. So I just wanted to throw this in. Oh, and for women, avoid makeup. Just, if you're going to use it, which I know you will, but, there's brands out there, I'm sure, Beauty Counter is one I heard of, and I don't know what other ones are out there because I'm not a woman.
I use Pure Haven, but yeah, they're Beauty Counter. There's an ingredient in Beauty Counter that doesn't work for me, but yeah,
okay.
Yeah, they're out there.
Yeah, because for women, I have found that the stuff in these makeups is absolutely horrific for you. Horrific.
And even in sunscreens, we didn't even talk about the chemicals in sunscreens that people are putting on, and then they're going in the sun and wondering why they're having issues because of all the chemicals.
And canned and plastic goods. Even if you purify your water into a plastic tin, like many people do, because that's what they give you, try to get a glass one to replace it. Amen.
Yeah, thank you, Stan. That's all great advice. Thank you so much. Anyone else? Love hearing from all of you guys. You guys are so smart. Yeah, and like I said, one of the things that I just, because these glyphosate, just like glyphosate, it's in our air, it's in our food, it's in our rainwater. And even when we're putting things on our lawns, that's going into our water system. So we really do need to filter our water. And these are some of the things that we can do. We have to, when we can take as long, like, you may not do all of this. Like, this has been like a journey for me. And like I said, I just stopped coloring my hair. But it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it to me. So, okay, I'm trying to move our boxes here. So this comes to what we were talking about, like the toxicity and how, symptoms can present, differently in each person. Even if I'm working with, families, one could have, like digestive disorders and anxiety, depression, and OCD. Another person in the family could have gallbladder issues, and the other person, could have more like autoimmune conditions, chronic fatigue. And a lot of times what I find are just presenting different symptoms, but it all came down to toxicity. And I also am finding a lot of mold toxicity as well. And that was that one family that I was working with. They all were having all those symptoms, and it was mold toxicity. So I wanted to just share, I mentioned some of the, I mentioned what I was doing to really help my body reset and detox. That has really helped me and my clients as well. Before, when I was just doing more of the traditional alignment that I went to school for, not only did it take so long, but, it was, just on a bunch of supplements that was, the liver has to deal with. And it wasn't really addressing the toxicity and really helping the organ system that all works together to open up that stagnation and really be able to detox. And so with this 30-day health reset, this detox, that's exactly what it does. And it's all the food is grown in regenerative soil, and only 1% of the soil in the US is regenerative. Only 1% of our food is organic. So you can see that, we really need some support. And so this company is, grown in regenerative soil. Everything is picked, vine ripened. So you go to your grocery store and you're picking up like pears that take a week before you can eat them. And so all of this is picked so early, you're not really getting the nutrition, the minerals that you can be. And this really does, it moves your body from acidic to alkaline. And when we are more alkaline, then that's when inflammation decreases and pain and some of these other symptoms start to clear up. It can, it actually nourishes and floods our body, at the cellular level. And it really does help to detox because it remineralizes and opens up those detox pathways to really move out that lymphatic waste and really help to get those toxins out and build and repair. So it really will help. A lot of people are depleted, and this will also help to, and a lot of detoxes can be very depleting itself. A lot of binders that can be very depleting and pull everything out. We don't want that. This does not do that. It opens up, but it remineralizes, and it also helps to build and repair. It restores the gut as well. And I can't make any claims, but I can tell you that the company has done research, and these are clinical studies and third-party tested, that one of the food products removes glyphosate up to 75% in 6 weeks and reduces 75% of inflammation in the body in the same time frame. And it repairs and restores the gut. And it's just amazing. So it's like really simple and really profound. And then it actually helps to build and repair. So some people are so malnourished that they're muscle wasting. This will actually help to repair and rebuild. So that's what I wanted to share tonight. I will open up for questions, but if anybody is, maybe somebody, maybe this might be for you if you're looking for a 30-day health reset. Dr. Toby and I have collaborated, and some of her patients, and we just started, so you're more than welcome to jump in. Please reach out to me or Dr. Toby and let us know. We'll be more than happy to certainly get you set up. And then questions. I just want to be open for questions.
Hey, Kim, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. Hey, so I'm sorry that I'm late to the meeting. I've been at work. So is it possible that you could possibly send this to me? Yes,
I will send you the replay. Absolutely.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, I just had to work, so I'm still at work. So I just went out on a little break really quick, just so I could at least let you know that.
Okay, no problem.
All right. Thanks a lot, Kim.
Thank you.
Sorry. Where could you get a list of some of these ingredients? You know, I was just looking at some of the eco-friendly things that I use in my house, and I thought I still don't know when I'm looking at ingredients what's toxic and not toxic. It might be good for the environment, but is it good for my skin? You know.
Mhm.
So where would I go to look those kind of ingredients up? You know.
Yeah, and sometimes, like I said, you have to go out to their website and they have a whole nother list of ingredients, not just what they put on. But if if you have something, I'd be more than happy to look, or Dr. Toby, we can help you, because it's just, when you see these long paragraphs and chemicals that you can't pronounce, doesn't look like anything that you would want, just, it has perfume. A lot of things are perfumed. Then you know that that's probably not the best choice.
Okay.
Does that help?
Kim, I
No,
was
that
just
does,
thinking
and I
that
appreciate the offer, because I will send them to you and see if you know.
Okay, yeah, I'll be more
'Cause
than
I
happy to
can learn
support.
from watching you identify them too. So
Okay, great.
there's also a company called Environmental Working Group where you can plug in different products and they will tell you the toxicity level of them. It's helped me even with my natural products. Sometimes I plug something in and it will have a rating of like 5, which is really bad. And you want the 0s and 1s. So they've spent a ton of money and time and research trying to document the toxicity level of a lot of products.
is that
And Kim, what I'm
EWG?
thinking is ewg.org.
I got it.
EWG.org, yep.
I got it.
Thank you for that. I just forgot about that, but yep, they're a great resource.
And I'm thinking that at some point, Kim, you and I should collaborate, because I imagine if we come together, we could probably create a list for our patients and people that are things that we've come up with over the years that are good go-tos for everything you've talked about tonight, because I know that I've been compiling and I'm sure you have too.
Yeah, absolutely. Why don't we do that? I would love to do that. That way it just helps people a little quicker to know what to look for, and they don't have to spend a lot of time. And I just, over the years, I had to spend a lot of time. So that's how, but we don't want you to have to do that. So yeah, we could make that whole process a lot easier for you. So, all right. Any other, questions I could answer? Yeah.
Kim,
Yes, Joe.
Anita would like to know if there's such a thing as a safe hair dye.
Well, the only one that I know of is henna, but then again, I don't know if that's 100% safe,
Okay,
but it's probably like safest.
thank you.
And there's, yeah.
What's it
And would
called?
anyone who maybe is on the detox, would anybody like just to share, like, would anybody like to share anything about anything, like maybe what it has done for them, or just want to give you guys that opportunity?
I could share if you like, Kim.
Sure, would love to.
So I've known about Purium for quite a while, and I had thought about it. And then when I got COVID in January into February, it took me so long, and I had so much medication to get over it, that my gut was a mess. And so I had to do something because I was so uncomfortable. So I started with the 30-day ULT, and it took care of my gut like right away. It really, in a few weeks, it was much, much better. And I also had been suffering since my thyroidectomy in early 2018 with not being able to lose weight. And in fact, I had gained 15 pounds over the last year while trying to lose weight. And I was so frustrated. So I now have lost, in 3 months, I've lost 17 pounds.
Congratulations.
Yep, it's great. And then another funny little thing is I had a growth on my cheek that just appeared out of nowhere. And for months I had it, and I kept picking at it to try to get it to go away. And then one day, after about a month, it just fell out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I feel well. So it's been a good experience.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing. And I love hearing those stories. I get to hear, a lot of these stories, and it's just very wonderful. And yeah, my health has improved so much as well. So just getting in these micronutrients at the cellular level, and just all whole food that your body can recognize and assimilate and absorb. And stabilize. It's just amazing, and having it vine ripened and nothing heated over 86 degrees. And so they're really living foods, and just the way they spring water the soil, and just away from 250 miles away from anything. So they're not near any industrialized. So just their, ethics in terms of how they grow food, and the highest quality, and it's tested again and tested again. So I just love that as well. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing. Okay,
I'm
anybody
sorry,
else?
I must have missed part of what you were talking about, but the 30-day detox, what is the process? Are you eating? Are you just taking these vitamins and herbs and shakes?
Yes, great question. Thanks for asking. So yes, you are certainly eating, of course, and everything in it is food. So even though, like, you'll see the aminos and it's like, okay, well, it looks like a supplement, they're actually they're from plants. They are the 9 essential aminos that our body needs. And when glyphosate is sprayed on plants, it blocks the Chick-away pathway, so the plant can't make these essential aminos. And if you're trying to get them from animal food, and you have a lot of digestive issues, it's a hard conversion to break down if there's a lot of waste in the system. So we're not getting as much, but they go right into the tissues and dissolve within 23 minutes. They were put together for people in comas and wheelchairs, so they didn't muscle waste. So it's like 4 products. It's the aminos, and then we do a really alkalining shake that just really gently, like, has all your B vitamins. It really just helps to alkalize your body and gently detox with spirulina and chlorella. So I had recently, a couple years ago, had my amalgams removed by a safe dentist, and so you're always detoxing mercury. So that's just great to have that. And then with the Biomedic, which is really your glyphosate solution, it removes 75% of glyphosate in your body. And then it actually puts in the lactobacillus spores, ton of it into your gut. So it's feeding the microbiome. And it really, like, when we eat or breathe glyphosate, then it loosens the junctions in the gut lining, and that's when all of these toxins leach through into the bloodstream. And this is where we're seeing all of these symptoms. What seals that up so it repairs and builds. And then last, we do a tart cherry at night, which does a lot of things. It's high in vitamin C, it helps with oxidative stress, it's very high in antioxidants, but it really is natural melatonin. So we want you to get deep REM sleep, because when you're sleeping, that's when your body is actually regenerating. So the whole system, and then there's 10 days where you do the parasite yeast fungus cleanse, really just restoring, putting the body back into balance. But no, you eat. If you want, it just depends on your goals. If you really want a deep cleanse, like deeper, there are fruits and vegetables are the ones that are really going to help your body to cleanse. But it comes with a booklet. It comes with flex foods and meals and all of that. So no, you are definitely eating for sure. Yeah, it's not a restrictive or diet or anything like that. It's just about getting the body to detox. And there's so many people, whether they have the genetic and they can't detox, or they'll already have CIRS, chronic inflammatory response syndrome, like I did. It's when your toxic bucket overflows, and then you have this cluster of symptoms where you need and now you're chronically inflamed. So we need to take down the CIRS. And then, just our organs in general can be congested and stagnant. So we need to just support it and open it up to be able to get out those 200 toxins that are in our bodies now, and that we're bringing in 196 every day. So.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I hope that answered your question. I think that was a long way, but. Okay, thank you guys. This was really great. And I hope I did okay tonight. I was just, like I said, I had some food poisoning yesterday. I didn't want to cancel. I'm not feeling my 100% best, but I wanted to still show up and I still wanted to present. So hopefully, thank you for, your patience and all of that.
That was fabulous. Thank you so much. I always learn more every time I hear you speak. So I'm sure my patients and your your clients. I'm sure we all learned quite a bit tonight, and we'll all choose something to start changing, that's for sure. So if you
Yeah,
have any other questions, reach out to us in any fashion, phone or email, and
mhm.
we'll try to help you as best as we can.
Yes. Okay. I didn't put my email up. Do you want me to put it in the chat for anybody? I'll just put it in there. And then you can. Whoops. So there's my email there. Did I do it right? Yep, I did. Okay, so if there's no more questions or anything like that, like I said, just get in touch with me or Dr. Toby, and I'm gonna go. But thank you again. I really appreciated everybody attending. And thanks
Thank
for all
you.
your shares and everybody who spoke.
Get some rest, feel better.
Thanks, you too. Bye, everybody.
Bye.